Deep fake Luke Skywalker in chapter 6 of the book of Boba Fett changed everything. And I'm not just talking about Star Wars, I'm talking about Hollywood. This technology is extremely disruptive to the industry. And I don't mean disruptive in a negative way. I'm talking about this is going to change the game. The conversations of even 2 or 3 years ago are almost completely irrelevant. And I'm going to talk to you as to why I believe that's the case up next. Hey everybody, welcome aboard to another episode of the Orange Nerd Show, where we discuss everything except the theme parks. Because you know what? There is more to life than just the theme parks. And really, wouldn't it get boring if I just talked about the Magic Key reservation calendar every fucking day? I think that would be extremely boring. I want to discuss other things. I want to get into some other cool stuff because there's a lot to talk about. So let's talk about the deep fake Luke Skywalker that premiered on chapter 6 of the book of Boba. Now, fans are going nuts over this, and rightfully so. The deep fake Luke Skywalker looks absolutely phenomenal. It's several steps up from the Luke Skywalker we saw in the season 2 finale of The Mandalorian. I mean, this is incredible. Okay, it's absolutely incredible. But the ramifications for this Luke Skywalker deepfake, I think, extend far beyond that of just Star Wars. Okay, now a content creator that I follow, I'm subscribed to, and I'm a huge fan of, Den of Nerds. Okay, Den of Nerds, and I'm going to link this down below in the description. But Den of Nerds had a fantastic video the other day about how this Luke Skywalker has really changed the game. And he touched upon some really, really cool points. And I want to kind of go over that with you guys today because this is incredibly game-changing here. Now, so what Josh in this video kind of touches upon is, the conversations of yesteryear. When we lost Carrie Fisher a few years ago, there was a big conversation around how Star Wars should kind of proceed. How can they move forward now without their princess? And there were talks of like maybe recasting, maybe doing some digital work to kind of, put her in the scene or what have you. And ultimately they decided the best approach to this would be to kind of take old footage that they recorded for like The Force Awakens and Last Jedi and kind of repurpose that old footage. Okay. So that was the conversation around Princess Leia. And really at that time, that was really the only options, right? I mean, look, 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, if you were to kind of de-age a character or to add them in with like CGI, you could do it, but there's always going to be that uncanny valley kind of look to it. With this new technology that YouTuber Shamook introduced, which by the way, Shamook is now working for Disney, and he's actually the guy who brought us this incredible version of the young Luke Skywalker in Book of Boba. But the technology that he introduced changes all of that. If this technology was available when they were filming or when they were getting ready to film The Rise of Skywalker, would they have approached the Princess Leia character differently? I think they might have. I mean, look, a lot of her dialogue in that film was very clunky. It was kind of awkward because they were building scenes kind of around old footage, right? It wasn't like tailor-made for The Rise of Skywalker. With this new deepfake technology and how realistic it is, they could have approached that Princess Leia character in Rise of Skywalker so much differently and so much more effectively, in my opinion. Now, there is also kind of an ethical concern here. What do you do when an actor or an actress passes away? And how do you proceed? Everyone's idea of what's respectful is sort of, it's different. It's subjective. So a lot of fans felt like, having her in the movie was the best way to sort of respect her legacy. Some fans feel that like the character should really die with the actor or the actress. T'Challa, Black Panther, is another great example. When Chadwick unfortunately passed away a few years ago, Marvel was having that same conversation. How do we proceed? Is the best way to move forward to respect Chadwick's memory and the character of Black Panther? Is it to continue on with the character, or is it to retire the character upon Chadwick's death? And ultimately, Marvel decided to retire the character. But again, these decisions, the Princess Leia and the T'Challa decisions, were based on technology from 2 and 3 years ago. I don't know if they would have made that decision had this technology that they're using for this Luke Skywalker would have been readily available. I just don't know. And really, it is a kind of a subjective thing, right? Like everyone, like I said, everyone has a different idea of how to move forward in respecting these talented these actors and actresses, So it's a difficult decision to make. It really, really is. But it changes the game. Look, this is what I'm saying. The conversations have completely changed because now you could have, in theory, a very realistic T'Challa in the Marvel movies going forward. Very realistic. Okay. You could have Princess Leia back in Star Wars. Very realistically. Right? It's a seismic shift. Okay. Another thing to really talk about here the elephant in the room, or the bantha in the room, is Harrison Ford. Okay. With this technology, the conversation even changes with Indiana Jones. With Indiana Jones, a few years ago, a lot of people were talking about Harrison Ford. He's getting too old for this. Eventually, if they're going to want to continue the Indiana Jones franchise, they're going to have to kind of pass the fedora on to another actor or actress. But has that conversation changed now? With this deepfake Luke Skywalker technology, has that conversation changed now? Can Harrison Ford effectively play this character forever now using this technology? If Harrison Ford signs off on that and says you can use my likeness forever to, whether it be Han Solo or Indiana Jones, you wouldn't have to recast for Indy or Solo. You could have Harrison play this character forever. Same goes for Marvel. There's going to come a day when Robert Downey Jr. is going to get too old to play Iron Man, or if they ever want to bring him back or do like a prequel thing or whatever they want to do with it, there's going to be a day where Robert Downey can't do that character anymore. So this technology opens up that possibility to bring him back as he looked in the original movies, in Iron Man 1, 2, and 3, and all the Avengers movies. It's fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. And this guy right here, Josh, on this stream, this live stream he did, he brought up a fantastic point in terms of like the fan service kind of stuff, right? Like Spider-Man No Way Home. There was a lot of fan service with Tobey and Andrew's Spider-Man coming into the mix, that whole multiverse thing. Well, again, the deep fake Luke technology changes the game for that aspect also. And not just for Star Wars, for everything. Let's talk a little DC. And Josh mentions this in his video. You could effectively bring back Christopher Reeve's Superman in a DC movie if you wanted to. You can bring back Christopher Reeve's Superman in a DC movie if you wanted to. If you wanted to. Okay. In terms of Disney, we talk, obviously my channel is dedicated to Disney and theme parks and what have you. You could do deep fake Walt Disney. If you want to do a movie like Saving, Mr. Banks, you could effectively bring Walt Disney as we know him back and have him be a character in any kind of film, like a Saving Mr. Banks or documentary kind of style film. The possibilities with this technology are absolutely endless. And the Luke Skywalker we saw in chapter 6 is like 99% there. Imagine what that technology would look like in 4, 5, 6 years from now, or a decade from now. You wouldn't be able to differentiate the difference between the real person and that deepfake. You're not going to be able to tell the difference. It's going to be flawless. right? You can bring back actors and actresses from 40, 50 years ago in films. I'm telling you. And look, this is the thing. A lot of fans don't understand how big this is. This is an industry changing event. This is disruptive. This is going to change everything. And Star Wars has a history of doing that. From 1977 with the first film to the prequels, which were kind of presenting us new technology with like CGI, and now this new deep fake stuff in Book of Boba. Star Wars has a history of innovating in technology, and they're doing that. So this is extremely fascinating. Now, I also want to touch upon the theme parks just a little bit. The Avengers e-ticket. A big sticking point for the Avengers e-ticket was Chadwick Boseman, Black Panther. Reportedly, it's, Wakanda has a big part in that Avengers e-ticket storyline. And what kind of put a hold or put the whole ride on kind of on ice was Chadwick's passing. You have an attraction here that is based in Wakanda. You no longer have the actor who plays Black Panther, so they kind of had to go back to the drawing table and kind of figure things out. Okay. Well, with this new deepfake technology, that's no longer an issue, is it? Let's just say, the family of Chadwick gives Walt Disney Imagineering their blessing to use Chadwick in this way, to do this deepfake tech and use him to play Black Panther again. You wouldn't have to worry about how Black Panther 2 does without Chadwick Boseman, because you could have Chadwick Boseman in the attraction, just like you have Luke Skywalker. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. This changes the game for film, Hollywood, and even like I just said, it changes the game for the theme parks. You can do anything, absolutely anything. This is tip of the iceberg. Tip of the motherfucking iceberg. And I'm excited. I'm absolutely excited for it. It's phenomenal stuff. It's absolutely phenomenal. So I want to hear what you guys have to say about this, because there's so much to dive into. There's so much. I want to hear what you guys have to say about this. I want you to check out this man's video. I'm going to link it down below and up above. I want you to check this man's video out because it was really, really great stuff. But this is a conversation I think a lot of fans need to have. It's a conversation a lot of fans need to have because I think that the game has changed. The conversations have changed. So what do you guys think? Comment down below. I would love to hear from you. Thank you all so much for tuning in today for this episode of the Orange Nerd Show. I will be diving in even further with this stuff next week after Chapter 7 with Vash Sky. I'm going to be diving in. We've already discussed it. Next week, we're going to go into all this stuff, including Chapter 7, the finale of Book of Boba. But I just want to get a video out today and just sort of like talk about it a little bit with you guys, because I just think it's such a big subject. It deserves the attention. It really does. And not many content creators are talking about it, except for this guy right here. And I'm telling you, he's right. He's absolutely correct. But thank you all so much for watching. And as always, have a wonderful, wonderful day.